everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Shop Adventures, my weekly excursion where I leave the homestead here at Athletic Geek HQ and search my bounty of comics, graphic novels, action figures, collectibles, and all things in between. First things first, time to talk about what stood out from last week's bounty. And I'm going to sound like a total fanboy when I say this, but it was kind of the truth. The best books came from DC. It was the Batman, Superman, just everything that encompassed the DC portion of the bounty last week that really stood out the most to me. Both Batman and Batman Detective Comics were really awesome. I'm really liking what Tinian's starting to do with his run after very much enjoying his Detective Comics. And speaking of Detective Comics, singing the praises some more. Peter Tomasi, man, he is really kicking some major league ass there on Detective Comics. Superman with the continuation of Big Blue outing his identity to the whole world, admitting that he is Clark Kent and just kind of being open with that. I enjoyed this issue. By the end of everything, I'm not going to say it's a guarantee that I'll still like this decision, but right now it's being written well enough for me to enjoy it and find it intriguing. And Batman and Superman, just another solid book. Just Joshua Williamson proves why he's the most underrated writer in comic books today. Just all four of those titles really brought it. And, you know, that's not to say that the X books I got on the Marvel side of things were bad. It's just those four Batman and Superman related books that I got from DC. They're the ones that they're the ones that stood out the most. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything. I will see you guys when I get back here to the homestead with this week's bounty. Hey everyone, I am back here at the homestead, right here at Athletic Geek HQ. Got one of the largest bounties I've had in quite some time. So let's just get right in it. First things first, we're going to start with Green Lantern Black Stars, number 3. This is the conclusion of the Black Stars portion of this, but I'm also just curious to see what's going to happen with Hal Jordan, what's going to happen with this character, and if Morrison's going to continue his story with Green Lantern after this. It's been kind of hit and miss, and it kind of hurts me to say that about a writer that I really like, but, you know, we'll have to see. It hasn't been hit and miss to the point to where I want to cut it, but it's been hit and miss to the point to where I expected more from Grant Morrison. Isn't to say it's been terrible, but I just expected more. But we'll see how this portion of the run concludes, and hopefully see what happens next with Hal Jordan and the rest of the Green Lantern Corps. Green Lantern Black Stars, number 3. From there we go to Justice League, number 39. Yeah, been digging the run so far, been really liking how they've been incorporating the Year of the Villain. It says the war is over, but what cost? So we're going to see the fallout of everything that's been kind of happening. Scott Snyder knows how to write the whole DC universe, and he might be the best writer of this generation. So, yeah. Justice League number 39. From there we go to Justice League Dark, number 19. I really like the cover. It says Wonder Women, and it's just a cool cover, and, you know, last issue kind of picked it up just a smidgen. Still not my, you know, as much as I'm digging what he's doing on Batman and what James Tynion did on Detective Comics, this has kind of not been my cup of tea, at least here in the last couple of months. But we'll see how everything pans out. He's a good enough writer that I'm confident in his ability to pick things back up. Justice League Dark, number 19. From there we go to Terrifics, number 24. Looks like a new story arc's beginning with Terrifics. They're done with Bizarro, as fun as that was. It's time to change things up a little bit, and we'll see how the fun list of mid-level superheroes in the DC universe go on to their next adventure and their next big story arc. Terrifics, number 24. From there, we go to Action Comics number 1019. It says, Luthor and Leviathan against the Man of Steel. Bendis and Romita together again on a Superman book does seem very surreal, because they were kind of the quintessential Marvel writers and artists, and Romita's been with DC for years. He's done Superman, he's done Batman, so John Romita Jr., love his artwork, but I still stand by what I'm saying. I wish Bendis was just doing Superman, taking care of that new story arc. The one that stood out, before I went on the adventure today, the one that I mentioned, I wish he was just, that was his voice for Superman, and we had somebody else here on Action. That isn't to say this is necessarily bad, it's just kind of, it's one person's take. It's like how, James Tynion and Peter Tomasi are both doing two different Batman books. They both respect the character the same way, but you're seeing two different writers' styles of writing on the same character concurrently, and that's kind of cool to me, and I'd like to see that happen with Superman more rather than just have one guy. That's just me. Nonetheless, could still be a good book. Action Comics number 1019. From there we go to The Flash number 87. I really like, again, the cover. It's you see the Speed Force, and it almost looks like it's one of those like lithograph covers, because like it's they got the almost look, they colored Flash like he's vibrating in the straitjacket, and that's just really, really cool cover. Flash turned himself in at the conclusion of the last issue for crimes with the Speed Force, and the Flash is on his way to Arkham Asylum. And while, if you watch the Flash TV show, Barry's gone to jail before, he's never gone to Arkham. He's never gone to Arkham in anything that, any kind of medium I've seen. So I'm very, very, very interested to see what happens with Barry Allen being locked up with some of the craziest creeps in the world, in the DC universe, I guess I should say. And, yeah, Joshua Williamson, like I said, best kept secret in comics, most underrated writer, and I get another dose of his writing this week. The Flash, number 87. And to round out the DC portion of this bounty, we have Detective Comics Annual number 3, and it's an Alfred-centric story. It says one man's worth, and yeah, this might be a very emotional book. Bruce is still kind of struggling to come to grips with Alfred not being there anymore. And, I thought they were going to retcon this immediately. They have not. So, as a Batman fan, as an Alfred fan, I'm kind of starting to come to maybe start to realize that it may be a good long while before we ever see Alfred again in comics, if ever. I don't want to say, you never say never. I mean, they brought back Jason Todd. They brought back Barry Allen. They brought back Hal Jordan. They've brought back everybody. The only person that they say, they brought back Bucky on the Marvel side of things when they said there's two people you can't bring back, and that's Bucky and Uncle Ben. They've brought half of that back. So to say that we'll never see Alfred again, that's a huge stretch. But the fact that it may be a good long while before we have Alfred again, at least in the main DC continuity, yeah, that could very well be true. So definitely read this annual book, and we'll see how it is. Annuals are hit and miss, but I'm really confident that Tomasi and the story going into this might be one of the better annual books out there. Detective Comics Annual number 3. Now we head to the world of Marvel with Avengers number 30, part 4 of this Star Brand story arc. It's been good. It's making me like Ghost Rider more, and that kind of the seeds got planted for that in the previous story arc. Wasn't a huge Ghost Rider fan, but I'm starting to dig him more because of this book. So Jason Aaron, thumbs up there. You make me care about heroes I normally didn't used to care that much about. So speaks how great of a writer Jason Aaron is. And yeah, not not a bad book. I did probably enjoy his Thor run, maybe just a smidgen more, but it was, you know, still two very, very good books. Avengers number 30. From there we go to Hawkeye Freefall number 2. Yeah, I really liked issue 1. I decided to add it to my pull list. I think this is probably just going to be a limited series or a mini series, maybe even a 12-issue maxi series. I don't think this is going to be an ongoing title, at least not for very long. But, you know, I like Hawkeye. The Matt Fraction run made me love Hawkeye, and so far so good. And, you know, it's not... The Fraction run's hard to touch with this character, but I still feel like they're doing a very good job with keeping what made me like Hawkeye from that book. So, job well done. Looking forward to reading this one. Hawkeye Freefall, number 2. From there we go to Deadpool, The End, number 1. Or maybe just a one-shot. I believe it's just a one-shot. They have a bunch of The End books going on here in Marvel, so who knows what that's going to lead to. It's Marvel. They have new stuff all the time. But, you know, my local comic shop pulled this for me because I do have Deadpool on my pull list, and, you know, I'll give it a read, and we'll see if it's any good, and see if this makes me want to pick up more of the End books from Marvel as they come out. So, yeah, we'll see if this is leading anything. We'll see what this even is. But Deadpool, The End, number 1. And finally, the last book of this large bounty this week. It is XMen number 5. You know, probably my number 2 favorite mutant book out there. Not nearly as good as Excalibur, but it's still a good book, and kind of gives me the feel of the closest to the feel of the X-Men that I like from the 90s. It's obviously not like the Jim Lee, Chris Claremont run from the early 90s, but it's, you know, with kind of the cast of characters they have there, and, you know, it's a nice little homage to it, and I've been digging it so far, so, yeah. Definitely a book that, at least as of now, is not at risk of being cut. X-Men, number 5. And that is it for my bounty this week. Let me know what you picked up at your local comic shop in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share, subscribe for more content, not just from the world of comic books, from the world of pro wrestling, gaming, anime, and all things geek culture. Go like my Facebook page at facebook.com/athleticgeek89 for more content, including every Thursday, my collection comic of the week blog. That is exclusive to my Facebook page. But on that, I'm out. Y'all be cool. Later.